Coming up next on Access Framingham TV is Framingham Fan to Fan, where we discuss all things sports in Framingham. Today we'll talk women's high school basketball with a head coach and two of their players. Stay tuned, it's going to be fast-paced. This is Framingham Fan to Fan on Access Framingham TV. Hi, I'm Dave Hornfischer, a Framingham sports fan, and I'm pleased to host this interview show, whose purpose is to highlight those who are involved in Framingham sports at all levels. Through this show, we hope to increase awareness and ideally fan support of these fun sporting events, and also to help use sports to achieve our station's goal of building community. Today, I'm pleased to welcome the head coach of Framingham High School's women's basketball team, Kristen Audet, and two of her players, Julia Gelman and her sister, Hannah Gilman. Women, welcome. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having us.
It's a long reach. Well, let's just get started with the coach here. And Kristen, why don't you tell us a little bit about how one gets to be the head basketball coach at Framingham's a Division I high school team, so.
Yeah, I started playing basketball in second grade. I've always loved basketball. I played through high school in a very competitive team. I moved on to play at Simmons College for 4 years as the point guard. I loved basketball. I was a student of the game and was very much felt like a big part of me was missing when playing ended. So I moved on to starting off playing, coaching a 7th and 8th grade girls team at the Driscoll School in Brookline. After that, I then took over the varsity program at Maimonides School in Brookline for 6 years, and I loved it. Then moved on to do some college. I did some volunteer work at Brandeis and spent 1 year at Mount Ida as the assistant coach under Katie Green, which was a great experience. And then my hope and dream was to be in the Bay State League. That's been my goal for a long time. And when I saw the opening, I live in Framingham, I'm a Framingham community member. As soon as I saw that pop up, I instantly made a call to Mr. Spear and showed my interest in being the coach here, and here I am.
And this is your second year?
This is my second year.
Okay, yes. We'll talk a little bit about some of your learning experiences here in a minute, but let's get a couple of words from our players. Julia, how did you get started?
Well, together we've been playing basketball since kindergarten. We started in the YMCA League here in Framingham, then we continued with the Temple Betham League, and then we kept playing at the middle school. In the 8th grade, they started a program. We played all 3 middle schools together. Then we worked hard all those years. We finally got up to the high school level, and we've been on varsity together since our sophomore year.
And so you played together a lot, so has that been a fun experience, Hannah? She just told me all of what you've did, all of what you've done, so.
It's been a great experience. Obviously, working with your best friend is really fun, and through the years we've learned how each other plays, so being on the court together is a lot of fun, and we work really well together.
And basketball is a game with a lot of teamwork. I would think, being sisters, you must have developed a real twin sisters, no less, that you have a real sense of kind of playing together and what that's about, and probably you picked that up right from the beginning, I would guess.
Yeah,
I love it.
we are very close. We share a room. We do everything together, so we spend a lot of time together, and we never want it any other way on the court. So it's a lot of fun to be playing side by side all these years.
And so now you are seniors, and you've been playing for 4 years?
We were on JV as freshmen, and then we made varsity as sophomores.
Wow, that's great. So, Coach, tell me, I understand you have you have a freshman team and a varsity team, and you have different coaches for them, but are you involved in kind of all three?
Yeah, we just actually hired a new coach, Bob Ciccarelli. He took over the freshman team. He's doing a great job, really motivating and getting the kids excited. He actually reached out to me. I told him, I'm like, listen, we only have 15 jerseys. Only 15 girls can make the team. And he's like, you know what, I have one girl who I can't cut her. She just keeps fighting really hard, and she's doing a great job. So he took 16 girls this year. He does a good job about rotating their time, giving them that excitement, keeping them learning the basic fundamentals of basketball. Riyadh Shah and his assistant Sarah Pallas have been doing a great job with the JV. We try to connect a lot with them. We do joint practices. Coach Shaw comes to a lot of our practices as well. So it kind of has like a fluid pace between the JV and varsity, which is nice.
Do you play your games on the same night?
We do. Unfortunately, this past year we've had a lot of freshman teams from other schools not have a freshman team. So the freshmen only had 16 games this year, but Coach Fucarile has been really making an effort to find other schools that have freshman teams and just schedule his own extra games. So that's been
Julia
great.
mentioned the YMCA League and the Temple Beth Am League. Is that something that you kind of keep an eye on yourself now and then to see who's coming through that? If you
Yeah.
can find the time, I'm sure.
Well, actually, this year we've been spending a lot of time with the YMCA. The coaches at the youth level have been doing a fantastic job really connecting with myself and the players. We've had a chance to have all of them come to our halftime shows. We put them in our program. They get really excited. They see what it's like to play at the high school. We had the 5th graders, 6th graders, 7th and 8th graders. Each group has had a game at our school. The coaches have been, reaching out saying, what can we do so these kids are ready when they get to the high school? So the enthusiasm and the excitement is there, which is great. And it's nice to see as a coach when you come down, they know who you are and they know what you're doing. And I'm trying to have that fluid connection all the way from 3rd grade on.
So this sounds like kind of a fun experience for a fan who wants to go and watch women's basketball. I gather if I were to show up at Framingham High School, what day do you typically play?
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays. So if I showed up about 5 o'clock, I'd probably see a lot of basketball.
Yes. Yep.
So the freshman game starts at when? At
3:45.
3:45.
Yes.
Oh, I'd have to really be early. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 games, so 3:45 is freshman, 5 is JV, and then we tip off at 6:30.
At 6:30. So do you typically get a pretty good enthusiastic crowd?
Yeah, we've had a really good. I think the fact that we've had the youth coming to every halftime, those parents are then coming. So we've had some pretty packed nights.
Probably
which has
very
been nice.
expensive to get in, though. I'm not sure I could afford it.
It's not. It's $3.
$3.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not too
I'm
expensive.
well, I can handle that. 3 games for $3. How can anybody out in TV land not want to pick up on that? It's a
Yeah.
lot more fun than sitting home watching television.
Yes.
That's true.
So your season is off to kind of a tough start. It's been a growing experience, I gather, based on your record. But well, why don't the players talk a little bit about kind of the way your season's gone and kind of how you've had to fight through some tough stuff and some fun stuff.
Well, we've had a little bit of a rocky start, and there's definitely some games that we could have had and had some missed opportunities, but every day we come back to practice ready to work, and every girl on our team works so hard every day. We have the best coach in the Bay State, in my opinion. We have the best assistant coaches.
Oh, you want playing time.
We have, everybody's so involved in the program, and they push us so hard. They know what we have to do to excel. So having them as, motivating us the whole time, it's not hard. We have a lot of fun together. We're playing with our best friends. It's a great opportunity. It's the best. Yeah, sometimes it's tough when you come off a loss, but a lot of our scores don't show the fight we had during the game and how tough our team was. Last night, we played a really tough team, but we all went in we all said in the locker room why we were going to play hard that night and why we're all going to help each other out. And we just really strong communication on the team and a strong team. So even if our record doesn't show it, we're having a lot of fun.
Well, I think sports is a real learning experience. I mean, my guess is your goal isn't to play in the WNBA.
It's not, but it's high school. We're having a great time. We've been doing it for years. We've made friends that we're going to have for the rest of our lives. So even if we might not make it to that level, we're doing it for now, living the moment, having a great time.
That's my point. I think sometimes even when you lose, it's a lesson there in learning how to win and lose in life too, and
Exactly.
and how to be losing for a little while and to build on it and learn things. I think of the Patriots the way they lose for 3 quarters and fight hard and win in the end. And it's, well, let's just talk a little bit about some of the motivational experiences that you use, Kristen, to kind of keep these guys energized and.
So these kids, like they said it beautifully. They come hard every day, and they work hard. They're always looking to get themselves better. We do a lot. These kids have 2-hour practices, plus we watch film. They have studies. I mean, these kids are working really hard academically as well, which is huge and extremely important. Obviously, they're student athletes, so the academic part comes first, and they take that seriously. We've had some days where it's been a tough locker room to be in afterwards, but they come the next day rejuvenated and wanting to know what they can do best. And we were just talking about it before, just each of them have their job. They know what they need to do, and they know what they can do. So we're not asking them to do above and beyond, we're asking them to do what they can do. And believe it or not, they end up giving above and beyond with that mentality.
So Hannah, what's your job?
My job, I would say, calming down the girls in the heat of the game if it gets really intense, or we like to huddle during the game if we get a foul or if we foul the other team, and to just like calm everyone down, remind everyone in the locker room why we're playing basketball, why we love being out there.
Similar for you?
Yeah, I would say it's the same. You know, obviously we all want to do what we can on the court to help our team win. So I like to play solid defense when I can, score when I can. I like to motivate my team every single day.
I've always wondered about these little huddles, what goes on, whether you're really saying, oh, I'm going to go for pizza after the game, you want to come with me, or so that's it. It's more of a relaxing kind of a thing, except when the coach is in the huddle, right?
So they're talking about a huddle.
On the court.
They
yeah.
huddle up on the court anytime
Yeah,
there's a foul
right.
shot, because whenever that ref has to walk over and report who fouled, they take that 30, not even 5 seconds to communicate with
Great
each
to
other.
use all your time. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So when you have to call one of these timeouts, Natick has just scored 8 straight points. They're on a run. What's the message? I mean, what do you?
There's a lot of different messages, but the
Take me
main
in the moment of one of them. You know.
we called the timeout. We had started off really strong. It was 19-11, and one big thing that I had for our theme for our game yesterday against an extremely strong team was defense. I didn't need people shooting threes right now. I wanted our defense to stop their scores from moving. So as the score started to get advanced, I called the timeout, regathered, and reminded them of the thought and the idea and the theme that we had walking into that gym.
Right.
So that they didn't lose track of that with them getting a few baskets. Oh, remember, our focus is defense. We've got to box out every time. No matter how big they are, no matter how strong they are, we have to make sure we're boxing them out, keeping them out of the paint, doing the little things to keep their score down.
Yeah, staying in the moment is, I think, so important. Let's just talk about a couple moments in the game, in these games. You were mentioning before, Hannah, that you had a moment that was kind of a highlight moment for you this year that maybe stays with you. That when you're telling your grandchildren about this 10 years or 40 years from now, you're going to say, you know, I remember that game when.
Yeah, I remember we had a game versus Wellesley a few weeks ago, and Coach always says, you know, we win the tip, get the first basket. So the ball was tipped to me, and I just took a couple hard dribbles. I was toward our basket, and I saw Julia right across the paint, and I gave her a hard pass, and she scored the first 2 points of the game. So it was a really special moment, I remember.
Yeah. So you're going to do that again Friday night?
Oh, yes, we will, definitely.
Any insights there, Julia, that you want to share?
No, I mean, there's always little moments. I'd say there's like at least one moment a game where you personally feel like you have a good stop or a teammate has a good stop and you're happy for them. So we try to take away at least a little something from each game and remember that.
And sometimes there's a lesson in failure, too. I mean, I can remember one time as a player myself missing an easy layup. And that still lives with me, you know, decades later. And have you had any of those in which you've had to then kind of pick yourself up and get back on again? Or?
Definitely. I mean, we've had some tough losses this year that you think like you're never going to win a game after that, but we get back in the gym the next day, we get back in the workout room, and we have to keep pushing even as hard as losing to a team that we could have beat is.
Well, we have a couple of videos that we're going to show that show a couple of moments of your action. I think they're rather short, but I think they do illustrate the energy that's in the crowd, the energy that's on the court, and just the fun of watching this. So feel free to talk over while we run. I think the first one is a video of a fast break in a game against Norwood.
That's our forward, Riley LaChance. She is pushing the ball down, and she just took it hard to the basket. And I mean, she doesn't get a foul called for her, but she works extremely hard to make herself available on that.
And so landing on a basketball floor can't feel good. Have you each been on the floor this year?
We have, but definitely helps when you're on the ground and your teammates run over and give you a hand right away. That's something we all make sure we do. Then it's like it doesn't hurt anymore.
I didn't see anybody wearing knee pads or anything like that.
There's a couple of them.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, just
okay.
a few.
Then we have a couple of videos, a couple of brief clips from a game that you played against Milton. Did you win that game?
No, we did not.
Okay. Are they good, or is that a...
That was our home opener. We were kind of getting used to we have a younger team, and the aspect of we have some kids who've been been playing together for a while, but we also had a new group of kids coming in, so we're kind of getting our feelers out there.
Okay.
So we started off a little struggling, so we had to kind of come back at the end of the game. But
I think we have an inbounds play coming up from half court here. Nice pass. And somebody.
that's Riley as well.
And she stayed with the play and.
Yep, and a lot of the thing that was great about that one is the movement. So the kids are moving a lot, trying to not stand still and make themselves an opportunity when they don't have the ball, and that's.
What
why-
positions do you both play?
I'm a forward. I'm a guard.
A guard. Okay. So you are you the point guard or are you the shooting guard, or is there?
I would say I'm a shooting guard, but if the ball needs to be taken up the court, then
Well, I
I'm
guess
there too.
everybody does that sometime. And as a forward, are you part of the rebounding team that?
I am, yes, rebounding, boxing out. That's my job.
When I interviewed the women's team from Framingham State, there was a young woman who played that, and she said she got bruised every game. Is the Bay State League a very physical game?
It is extremely physical. Some girls are really tall, really big, and everyone wants the ball, so it get really physical down in the paint.
And was this a big change for you from growing up to go to high school play after playing in these YMCA leagues and things like that? And
Definitely, because a lot of the girls playing in like the TBA league or the YMCA league, they're just looking to have fun, not maybe to go to the next level in high school. Then we go to high school, we're playing against extremely hard powerhouses like Braintree and Natick and New and North, and it's like a little bit of wake-up call. All these girls have been playing their whole lives, and we're trying to get to that level as well.
Yeah, my own granddaughter switched to volleyball when she figured that out. Okay, I think we have one more video of Milton where there's a three-pointer going to get made, and let's kind of talk about the way that gets set up here.
These are out of bounds play.
Oh, that's the out of bounds play.
Yeah, well, sideline out of bounds, and that's Destiny. She's our point guard at the time. That's Hannah, and that's Vienna. That's our sophomore guard.
Right.
Who hits the
And so, how
three-pointer
did she get so open there?
Well, in that situation,
The defender just didn't come out.
yeah, she didn't come out on that one. She stepped right back in after being from the low post coming back up.
One of the plays that I see all the time at pro level and everything, the guard drives to the basket, everybody collapses on her, and there's a forward or somebody open in the corner, and they pass it to them, and they're wide open for a three. How does that happen?
The help defense. The people are coming in, and the communication, whereas one person comes to help, and then that person who's helping is that person that's way far out, whereas you really want the help coming from the weak side. So that's a difficult pass for them to get out. But
The weak side for non-basketball fans is?
If you're driving on the right, the weak side would be the left.
Okay, all right.
Or if you're driving on the left.
Doesn't mean there's fewer defenders over there.
No, that just means we're the farthest side of the.
But when the person goes to the basket, it seems like it's everybody's job to collapse. And when everybody knows this person's going to kick it to the corner, and wouldn't you have a player whose job was to sneak in there and steal that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I shouldn't be trying to do coaching, but let's just talk about your experience in school. Do you have you're both seniors, so you're planning to go to college afterwards here? And
Yes, right now we're waiting for a lot of responses because a lot of decisions from colleges come back like the end of March or April 1st. So we're waiting. We're still working hard in school, not giving up even though it's second semester, senior year, and everybody wants to leave during their free periods. We got to keep grinding on the schoolwork.
Been through all the SATs and all that stuff, so that's done and in the books, and now it's just a matter of looking for the mail. Do you have any preferences at this point, or are you just waiting to see where your opportunities are?
I think we're just waiting to see where opportunities are.
And we were talking before about playing basketball in college. There's a big difference. You're telling me that you were possibly going to Northeastern maybe, or you got some D3 schools. Is there a difference there where you go as to whether you might want to play basketball? Or?
I think we both, wherever we go, we really want to focus on our academics because that's a really big part of who we are.
That's what you're paying for.
Yeah, so neither of us really want to play like on the varsity levels at any school we go to, but we definitely want to participate, whether it be a club or intramural basketball. We don't want to just, let it go.
Yeah, that was my own experience. My friends and I still remember some memorable games in fraternity club basketball leagues in college that were probably as much fun as anybody would have had at the varsity. I was never going to play with the Celtics, even though I'm tall. So let's just, one of the things that I think is important, we touched on this a little bit, is developing players. And you mentioned you have a somewhat young team this year. You've got these two are your co-captain seniors, right?
Yep.
So talk about a little bit about the rest of the team. And
We have a couple juniors, but we also have a few sophomores and freshmen, and the 8th grade group that's coming up is pretty strong. So our connection with them has been pretty close, so that they understand what we're doing. So it's not a huge jump for them. Like, they express the jump going from middle school to high school is big. So we've been spending a lot of time with the middle school, being able to get that gap a little bit closer, so it's a little bit.
Yeah. So you've got one freshman who made the jump already.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you'll be looking to kind of build that team. Will you have 15 players? Did you say?
14.
14. In most games, do they all get to play, or?
For the most part, we try. Probably more like 10 or 11.
Right. So you have a rotation where you kind of move players in and out. And,
Yep.
Yeah, give people a break so they can all have a lot of energy. And
Yep.
it's probably hard to maintain the same level of quality though with your whole team, and so.
Yeah, it's really the different groups and
You
how
even
who
see that
works
with
together.
the Celtics. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that you mentioned that you do is that you run this summer camp, and is that in Framingham?
That is. It's actually this past year was at the Fuller Middle School, but this year it's going to be at the Framingham High School.
We have a video coming up of that, and I think it nicely shows the variety of things that go into learning to be a basketball player. And all three of you, feel free to comment when this is going on. If you can remember yourself back when you mentioned you started basketball real young. And as you watch this, I'm sure you'll see some drills that you were put through at the time, and you probably wondered, why are they making me do this? And probably you might even identify one or two things you say, I'm glad they had me doing this. So if we can run that little video, here we go. It's called the Metro West Elite Girls Basketball.
Yep. This was our first year this year doing it.
And this is in the summer.
This is in the summer, yes.
And so are you signing people up for that now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Registrations are open now, and we're actually signing in a lot of the college coaches that came and volunteered last year, which was amazing. We had the Simmons coach, we had Brandeis coach, we had the Mount Ida coach, we had my old Simmons coach, Tony Price, came, and they all came and spoke as guest speakers at this camp. That's actually the Suffolk coach right there.
And that's a cute drill.
Yeah, it's a boxing out drill.
Okay. Well, as a forward, you really need to know that.
And some ball handling skills that they're working on.
Yeah, that's one I've got to go in my backyard and try, bouncing two at a time.
Yep. That's actually, and this right here, a lot of the kids we would have break time and they would play a game together that had really nothing to do with basketball, but they were just enjoying their time. It was a long day for them. We started off at 9 a.m. and end at 3.
Wow.
So we have lunch break, and then afterwards we would have some fun games the kids would do that sometimes incorporate basketball for that half hour, and sometimes we would just do
Okay, the
fun
old
game.
layup drill here.
Yes, using the backboard.
Using the backboard, getting
key
off the
point.
right foot.
And that's my old assistant who was just backpedaling, Garvey Solomon. He's the head coach at Maimonides now. He was a great counselor for us this past year and stayed really connected with our program this year and the girls.
So what are the age levels in this?
Rising third graders all the way to rising.
Oh, I recognize
freshmen.
her. Yeah.
Yep.
So are you a coach in this program?
Yes,
Last
we
year,
both were counselors.
Counselors, yeah. Okay.
It was so much fun. I worked with third graders, and Hannah worked with girls in like 5th and 6th grade, and they really look up to us because they know that someday they want to play like we are now for the varsity team, and it's so much fun to be able to help them and teach them everything that they need to know.
Oh, that's so true. Do you remember when you were in third grade looking up to high school players?
I remember the high school players used to come to some of our practices and watch our games, and it was like nerve-wracking, but we also couldn't wait to be on that stage.
We had a lot of challenges too. This was the advanced group, so these are the kids who've been playing basketball for a pretty good amount of time, and they were working on some skill-based drills as well.
So is your program just a girls program, or you have?
This is
it
all
mixed?
girls.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And that was actually one piece of feedback that we received is a lot of the girls are not starting playing basketball until later on because they're intimidated to be playing with boys.
Yes.
And so this gave them the opportunity to play with all other girls and get a chance to get excited about basketball. And
Do you have all ages in the program at the same hours, or is it different times of the day or different weeks, or?
no, it's all together.
Okay.
But we do split up between advanced, beginners, and then intermediate groups.
So what weeks will this be in the coming year on this?
So it's the last 2 weeks in July,
Okay.
going into August,
And,
ending
and where does somebody sign up?
on www.metrowestelite.basketball.com.
www.metrowestelite
Yep, basketball.com.
basketball.com. Okay.
Yep.
So this isn't run through the town recreation department then?
Nope, it's ran through the girls' basketball program.
Okay.
So our coaches are all coaches that are in the staff of Framingham High School. So yeah.
Well, that's great, and you get to use one of the schools, and is it? Do I dare ask if it's expensive, or is it? Or do you give scholarships?
We did have scholarships last year for a few of the players that were wanting to. We also had siblings, so we had a bunch of kids that were volunteering their time. So with them volunteering, then we would have another voucher.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's $165 for the week, and it's full Monday through Friday.
Oh, that sounds
So
great.
it's
yeah.
we try to make it as reasonable as possible. So and all the proceeds go back to the program. So it's
Do you have any sponsors?
last year we had TJX, which was great. They sponsored our T-shirts, and this year we were working on getting a sponsor for this coming year. So we're in search of
So there must
sponsors.
be a business out there in TV land here that wants to sponsor this and get to know all. How many players are in the pro?
We
program?
had 50 a week last year.
50 a week. So
yeah.
and it was 2 weeks. You
2
said
weeks,
3.
yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're hoping to
So
double
that's
that.
100 families that they probably would like to have somebody that's selling like
Wearing a
Dick's
shirt,
sports
yeah.
shirts or somebody like
Yep.
that. Let's just get back a little bit to the high school team. You have a couple of. I know we're getting this show on a little too late to focus the program that you're having this week, the Pink Night, right? Which is about.
It's our breast cancer awareness night.
Okay.
So that's this Friday. We're all the donations and for the game, for the entry, the $3 entry and things like that, will go to Dana
Charge
Farber.
$10 for that.
I know we
I'm
should. Well, it's
seeing
actually
both teams.
donations. So
Oh, we can make it. You can pay more.
Yep.
So
And
I could pay as much as I'd pay to see a Celtic game.
Correct. You could absolutely.
I could. But
Yes.
that's why I don't go to Celtics games.
Yes.
Just between us.
But the JV girls will start. They'll play at 3:45. The varsity girls will play at 5, and then the boys varsity. It's a doubleheader. Will play after us.
And then you have another event coming up. I think you said.
We play Needham on Tuesday after.
Okay.
And then we play our senior night for these guys on Tuesday, February 2nd.
Is that pretty much the end of the year?
No, our schedule this year just fell funny. Where our last home game is February, but February 2nd. But then our last game is February 15th. So
Okay.
we're just on the road towards
So
the
February 2nd is the last time I will get the chance to see you guys play.
Unless you want to travel to Brookline or Holliston.
I guess I could possibly do that. We're kind of running out of time here. This half hour has just absolutely flown by. Just a quick question: who are your favorite basketball players that you watch when you're not playing? Anybody in particular?
Well, this year on the Celtics, I really like Al Horford because he's like a big man down low in the paint and does a lot of like the dirty work, like rebounding.
Power forward, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so I like to watch him.
Uh-huh.
I like Jason Tatum because he's a rookie, but he's showing how big of an impact he can make, even being his first year in the league. So he's great.
I'm a
And-
Jaylen Brown fan.
Really?
I
Yeah.
love the way he runs the court.
And do you watch women's basketball too on TV?
I do. I watch college more than
Right.
WNBA.
Sure. That's great.
But yes.
Yeah, I've become a real fan of that myself. I love to see
It's
and
fun.
watch them. Yeah. Well, this has been great having you on, and to all of our sports fans out there in Access Framingham TV land, come back and watch us next week. We're on 3 times a week here. It's a lot of fun, and you never know what kind of sports we're going to talk about in Framingham. There's a lot of it. Thanks a lot.